Happy New Year and welcome to the Field of 68 Best Bet Show presented by BetRivers. We're the three-man weave. It's 2022. A new page has turned. Wow, so exciting. We're in conference play, full bore. Never heard of COVID before. Nothing's canceling games. I'm excited. Jim, Matt, you ready to talk some hoops? Jim, takeaways. Yesterday, slow slate. What'd you do for New Year's? You hang out, watch the ball drop?
Very little. Got boosted, so I was a little sore, a little sluggish. Not a big New Year's for me, but I'm ready to go today. So that's a positive outcome of that. Kai, there's a new power in the Colonial, and it is the tribe of William and Mary. They sit atop the league.
Can't be touched.
Yeah, throw out your non-conference takeaways with this squad, guys. They are a juggernaut. Actually, they won by one of the worst calls I've ever seen in my life. I think it might have been the ultimate ref wants to go home and watch the CFB playoff. A horrendous 3-point foul call, but it's incredible. They're atop the league, and some of the other more viable contenders, Matthew, are residing with some losses. So perhaps we'll get the first ever NCAA bid for the tribe.
Would be fun, Jim. The Colonial's a weird league, man. Nothing is certain. Here's my take, Kai. Kentucky. It's a nice team.
It's a nice team.
We need to put them in the Arizona, Baylor, Purdue, Kansas, Duke, Gonzaga.
Do
we? It's time. It's time.
No.
I've declared it. Yep.
They lost to Notre Dame. I'm not there yet.
Yeah. They haven't beaten anybody. They
beat Mizzou, Kai.
You said Mizzou. Matt, no top 100 wins. Kempom.
I mean, UNC kind of has a team.
Besides
they beat them by like 40.
Sorry. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think they're really good.
If you filter Bart Torvik since they lost to Notre Dame, so after that, they're the number one team in the country. So
hadn't been close.
3 really big demolitions since then. But yeah,
Mizzou did hang around for a little bit. Mizzou did kind of stay close for a hot second there, and then it was like, oh yeah, we're Mizzou. Just remember that. And then
all right, enough of this nonsense, guys. Let's talk games. We got some games tipping off in less than an hour. We'll hit those before they do. Fear not. Let's start with Baylor and Iowa State. This is a marquee matchup because Iowa State's been awesome this year, unexpectedly. Matt, Bart Torvik, you get rid of the preseason weight. They're 18th in the country. They're up like 80, 60, whatever, 70 spots in Kempom. They're 19th in the net, 3-0 against Q1. But Baylor is Baylor. What do you think? Hilton Magic or the Baylor Bears in this game?
Man, it's a big spread. I got to bet up to 8.5. I believe at most places right now open 7.5. We did back, at least I did back Iowa State at home against Iowa in a hype home spot earlier this season. Obviously that's Cyhawk. That's a different beast. But when Baylor comes to town, I can assure you Hilton Magic will have the same juice it usually does for all the big games. I respect it too much, Jim. I'll be honest. Everything else points to Baylor here. I just think they can defend what Iowa State wants to do offensively. And we sort of see Iowa State maybe exposed for the first time all year. Now, we did see Baylor not look invincible when they went to Oregon. Maybe they show some cracks here as well, but they are fully healthy. We got, I guess, confirmed that Meyer and Cryer both playing today. I would lean Baylor on his side.
Yeah, so do I. But I don't want to get in front of Iowa State with as good as they've been. I want to throw a comparison out to you guys and see if this is completely insane or get your take on it. A little bit reminiscent, maybe, of the Arizona State team that rose to number 1 during non-conference play, and then in a tough conference kind of trended back down towards the middle. I don't think Iowa State's that bad or will have that much of a floundering issue in the Big 12, but it's a really good league, and they're going to play some really tough teams early. I could see them shattering the undefeated spell here and then suddenly taking a couple losses and trending back down towards the low end of that league, which is where we anticipated them to start. I mean, the talent is still a couple okay Big Ten transfers, a solid freshman. It's not blowing you away. So,
yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah. I don't hate that take, Jim. I don't hate it. Don't hate it at all.
I'm not sure I buy Iowa State's defense, guys. As 7th best in the country, I think it's good, but 7th best, there's some shooting luck in there. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't think no one makes threes against them. No one.
24% of the year. They do force a lot of turnovers. Baylor's not a team that's sloppy with the ball. Only angle I can think of is Hilton Magic for this team. So I'm leaning Baylor and nothing here, guys.
Yeah, kind of like the over, which feels
I lean over too.
Both teams are better defensively than offensively, and last time I did that with Auburn LSU, it was a terrible choice. So tread lightly, but that would be my lean on total.
Next game, Villanova, Seton Hall, huge Big East matchup. I believe Nova is a short favorite currently. We know guys are out of this game, Jim. We know Caleb Daniels is out for Villanova. We know Samuel and Obiagu are out for Seton Hall. Who's more important, and who do you think wins?
It's weird. Like, I honestly don't think either side is losing a ton for this particular game. Samuel and Obiagu aren't, there's no Villanova size that's going to beat them up inside. Yetna can handle Eric Dixon. He's not like some immovable object on the block. And then the other end, Kai, it's Brian Antoine time, man. Villanova, let's do this.
Been waiting.
Jay Wright said he's about as healthy as he's ever been, and I'm just continuing to buy that propaganda for as long as I'm alive. Hopefully we get a little bit of a contribution from Antoine. The one thing about Obiagu and Samuels being out, Matt, is that it kind of forces Seton Hall to play Villanova's game, like small ball, spread ball.
Yep.
And Villanova's better at that. That's the one thing that concerns me here. So I like Villanova on the side, especially as that short favorite. You get -1. Any Villanova win is a pusher cover. I'm kind of into that, Matt. Definitely leaning towards the Wildcats.
I agree. Nova's going to turn into their style of game. I will say Seton Hall has underrated shot makers. If you're talking about good Bryce Aiken, not bad Bryce Aiken, and Miles Cale and Jared Roden can both score off the bounce as well. So they can play with Nova at their game for a little bit, Kai, but for 40 minutes without that interior stopgap up front and Obiagu and Samuel, I just think that there's a real dearth in rim protection. Nova can get to the rim a little bit against these guys, spread it out, get kickouts. And we've talked about this is kind of the point of the year where we start to see Nova maybe turn the corner. I'm with Jim, though. I'm hoping and foolishly banking on Brian Antoine being a huge difference maker. I'm sure he plays like 10 minutes today and does nothing. Right. Now we've said that. That's probably how this plays out. But I'm excited to see what he has today.
Seagull's offense looked like garbage with no practice time last game, and Villanova's going to make him play in the half court. Sorry, Kai, go ahead.
No, that's right. I think Samuel and Obiagu are actually pretty big because that was one of the main advantages Seton Hall had over Villanova, and without them, they're thin up front. Yeah, Villanova's not going to take advantage of them, but it's one less thing Villanova needs to worry about. Seton Hall, to their credit, they've been awesome this year at shutting down the perimeter, denying threes, and Villanova, that's kind of their game. Will this be a game where Nova dies by the three? They were 4 for 23 against Creighton, 6 for 27 against Baylor. If they have that type of shooting game, obviously it's not going to go very well for them. Seton Hall is a very good team even without those two big guys in the lineup. I think we see a tight game the entire way, but I'm a Nova believer, and I do lean them towards getting a win. Next game, Memphis at the Roundhouse, Wichita State. Jalen Duren, Matt, DeAndre Williams, they are available. They have practiced. They have traveled. Amani Bates, we're not sure will play, most likely not. Even with them, do you think Wichita can pull this out in front of what should be a pretty good crowd?
I'm leaning Memphis, Kai. I'm sorry. I know you're going the other way here. Reinsertion. Yeah. I mean, Duren and Williams basically cure up all of the interior defensive issues that we saw Tulane absolutely expose. You just put those guys at the back end of the defense. Williams is mobile. Duren just a tree up front. And then on the offensive end, you have Tyler Harris. Now, we know Lomax is not in today, but just the way we've seen the Memphis offense evolve, allowing Harris to run high pick and rolls, get in the lane, throw those lobs to Duren for dunks. You can have Williams play out of the high post. They just give you so many different options on both ends. And it was night and day clear how much they mean against Tulane. Mm-hmm. Then back in the fold today, Jim, I think that's a huge difference. The question is this very erratic Memphis team shocked, no pun intended, by the Roundhouse madness?
Small pun intended.
Nice. That a boy. Well, this is like probably the best version of Memphis. Lomax aside, you get the bigs back and no Bates. That's what ideal. You want to see.
Yeah, it's
as
ideal.
A Tiger fan.
It is.
The thing is, Matt, like you said, the crowd and Wichita State mucks games up, man. They make it just not pretty. They kind of like get you into a little bit of an insanity type of flow offensively. Disrupted Arizona, and man, that's bad for Memphis. They could turn the ball over. They can take some bad shots, and that'll keep Wichita State alive. The crazy part to me from that Tulane game, so Memphis still out rebounded them. Like I think it was 40-20, despite those big guys not being in, and they are going to wreck Wichita on the glass. They're just small. They gain rebound and they battle, but man, they're much smaller than Memphis. So with this version of Memphis, I kind of lean towards the Tigers, but I'll be rooting for the Shockers. It's
very funny. Penny, after that game against Tulane, I mean, he was bitching about losing Williams and Duren, saying, "Oh, they're so important to our rebounding effort." Still out rebounded them by like you said, like 16. That wasn't the reason he lost the game there, Penny. I'm worried about Memphis being 0-1 coming into this game. 0-2, backs against the wall, probably a little more fight there. And I feel like for some reason, Wichita can struggle against elite athleticism that doesn't really back down to their brand of physicality. Now, Memphis is not a well-coached team. They're definitely prone to break down. So maybe Wichita eventually cracks them. I don't really want to watch this game, guys. It's going to be like a lot of free throw line or free throw attempts, trip to the dentist, Matt, as you like to say.
Yes.
Go Shockers. I got no side in this
Rooting
one.
for you.
Shockers.
Rooting for you.
Yeah. All right. Creighton at Marquette. This one tips very soon. Darren Morsell, Matthew, is warming up for the team formerly known as the Warriors. Crushing blow if he was out for Marquette. I think he's going to play. He was listed as doubtful before. Marquette scraps, man. They're 0-2, but Creighton has that big win over Villanova. In fact, it's the last game they played.
Yep.
What do you think of this game?
So the Creighton situation is interesting, right? I haven't played in a while. I did watch the press conference of Doug McDermott from 2 days ago. It sounds like they're framing it as a positive, had a couple extra days to practice. So I don't know, this whole situation where you have teams who have played a game post-Christmas versus teams who have not played a game, I am siding with the former just across board as a blanket edge, just because A, you have more lineup certainty, and B, there's at least one game coming off the Christmas lull. I think that kind of helps you. And I like Marquette here a lot, just in general. Home Marquette should be a hype spot, even without Morsell, as important as he is, Jim. This is a young Creighton team. Their second true roadie of the year, I believe. Now, the first one went pretty well at Nebraska, but this is a different beast, man. You have adults swarming pressure, and I think that they struggle with that.
Yeah, that frenetic defense that Marquette is going to try to turn this game into, that's what concerns me. Young point guard, I like Nembhard, but long-term is probably better than short-term against a very pressurized environment here. Creighton's dominant at the rim, guys. I think we talked about this a little on the show before, but they're 9th offensively in field goal percentage at the rim, 29th defensively. It's per hoop math. Mm-hmm. So Kerkweth, Kai, he's pretty big for Marquette here. We've seen him make some huge plays in these home spots, big time shot blocker.
Yeah.
He needs to stay in the court, avoid foul trouble. But I think if he does, I definitely lean towards Marquette here, and I would probably take it up to 2, or I'm not sure what it's actually at right now. But with Morsell probably in, definitely lean towards the Golden Eagles.
Spread's actually -1 still for Marquette.
-1 in BetRivers currently. Yeah, I think now is the right time to hop in there on Marquette, especially if there's a chance that Morsell plays. I had written him off completely. So one of the rare doubtful prognoses that have come, swung back to more probable, I guess.
Yeah, Matt, first true game outside of the state of Nebraska, if you want to frame it like that for Creighton. I like the physical Marquette team here against the young Road Jays. So I'm leaning Marquette. And that does it for our first round here. Chat mob time. Jim, part 1. What do we got?
All right, this has been discussed a little in the chat, but Matt, I'm going to throw it to you from Matt Akers and several others, Brandon Gilden as well. Weber State at Montana. What's going on with this line, fellas? I sort of lean towards Montana at opener, but Weber is down to a 4.5-point dog. Matt, you mentioned Weber's already played a game since the break. Won a best bet on them this week.
Yep.
So they had their key guys. So why is this line running away?
It's got to be lineup issues, right? I just don't get it, man. Like, I know Weber looked bad before they got the monkey off their back last game against Montana State, but we talked
big time shooting luck.
Yes,
for Weber, but
for sure.
They
I don't think that's fluky.
No.
Yeah, and we know they have shooters. They were due for I think one of those types of 15 of 30 shooting displays from the outside. But Weber is 2 different teams, Kai. Against the big boys, they're exposed, but like Southern Utah and some of these other mid-major teams with superior talent and speed, athleticism, shot making, I think they look like a mini juggernaut. Now Montana is in their class. So I don't know what gives here. I lean Montana. I think these two teams are basically neck and neck. And at the opener, there was basically no home baked in. So I did like Montana, but now it's just too high. It's almost like a Weber or nothing.
Well, the opener probably was some home baked in, right?
Right. I'm saying like from my handicap
for you. Sure.
I think it should be like -3 or something.
It's got to be a lineup check here. That's all I got to say about it.
Yeah.
4.5 is ridiculous, all healthy.
Right. So check it out and find out if Kobe McEwen is taking a walk around town and not playing this one. That's
a key one.
We're calling out his fan base for not showing up to games.
Yep. Guys, we got a bunch of Big Sky questions. So Kai, going back to you.
Love this guy.
From the Renzo Bros, Eastern Washington at Northern Arizona. This is another one where the line has moved quite a bit. Has flipped over to Northern Arizona being a favorite. I don't really agree with that much, but Eastern Washington was missing a bunch of bench guys. Is that why, Kai? Is that what we're looking at?
I don't know. I really like Northern Arizona at 2.5, 3-point dog. The line is flipped into a favorite. I wouldn't take them as a favorite. Probably Now, I'm not totally in tune with the Big Sky travel, Matthew, but I have to assume Northern Arizona is a pretty tough travel for Eastern Washington.
Mm-hmm. It's elevation too.
Yeah, elevation. Yeah. Good home court there in Flagstaff. I lean towards NAU. I wouldn't take them as a favorite. I like them better as a dog.
Yeah, it's the same narrative for me as Montana. Liked at the opener, but now it's just gone too far, assuming lineup's not completely in shambles.
Yep. This is another one where I'm kind of against the market move here, especially if you check there's a chance Northern Arizona is missing guys. They haven't played a game yet,
they have not played since break, right?
Definitely going to be checking that one out. All right, staying in the Big Sky, Matt, another one with some lineup question marks. Ethan Wright asking about Northern Colorado at Southern Utah. Big time questions on the other UNC side with Dalen Kuntz and Dalton Knechte.
Yes.
Connect. I can't remember. Like I've heard it pronounced.
I like saying Connect, ways. Like Connect 4. I used to always destroy Connect 4, by the way, in third grade. So, but he beats me in chess. So I guess we're even in that regard.
That's true.
Back to basketball. Both teams undefeated in conference. I kind of think Southern Utah has the edge here. It's a big number. I'm not going to lay it, but you have to make sure Kuntz is in if you're going to back the other side. He is huge. He's like a power conference shot maker in a mid-major league, and that team is not deep. They need his dynamism at the point of attack, Kai.
Yep, I agree.
All right. One more Big Sky question for Kai here from Matt Akers. Idaho State at Montana State. Montana State bouncing back from that home loss to Weber. Idaho State just got rolled by Montana, so they're trading opponents here. Does that same trend continue with Idaho State getting crushed?
I guess. How bad can Idaho State be? It's weird. They switched bodies with Idaho. This is a team that a lot of people thought could be scrappy in the middle of the conference. Ryan Looney had a lot of momentum the last couple of years building the program up, but they've been as bad as you can get. I would certainly not be interested in taking any points with them in any game. And Montana State can be a dangerous team, especially with one loss. It's a complete stay away from me.
Yeah, I know Jordan Majeski said on Twitter, he's like, I'm worried Montana State just kind of coast through this one coming off the big Weber State slugfest. So, yeah, that one's a big stay away from me. All right, Matt, into the SoCon. Furman at VMI from our boy John Doe. We know Bob Ritchie will not be there, head coach of Furman. He's awaiting the birth of a child. So
congrats.
A worthy reason to not be present. Matt, VMI has been awesome. I filtered Bart Torvik yesterday for only December, and they're like the 60th best team. They've been a complete monster in December. So do we lean that way with Ritchie out?
No, I don't actually. I don't have I think the line's right on. I was hoping they'd hang I was actually excited about both teams. One of those things where you like both sides, they're pinning against each other. You kind of have to stay away out of annoyance. Hoping one team destroys the other guys, maybe get some punchback value the following game.
Yeah. Yep. That'd be great. There should be a lot of points. It's a high total, almost 150, but sort of lean towards the over. All right, Kai, another one from Johnny Doe. Toledo at Kent State. Yep. Kent State has taken money. Favorite has flipped in this one as well. Everyone's joining Toledo Faders Anonymous. Is that a wise decision?
I know.
I think this sets up pretty well for Kent State, but that's famous last words when you're going against Toledo. Like Harry Arson in the chat. They've been a fireball. Scary to get in the way of that. I think Kent State's a good bounce back opportunity for them after losing a very surprising game to Central Michigan.
Yeah, it's size versus speed, Jim. Kent State has size. Toledo has speed and slashing ability. What gives? That's the question here.
Yep. All right, one more, and then we can get back to the outline. Want to make sure we hit the noon Eastern games. Time zones are hard.
That's right.
Yes, they are.
Good. All right, Matt, you going from the Sun Belt. I know you and Kai have a little conflict here, so maybe we'll hear from both of you.
Baby.
Tim Kafer, the Cajuns of Louisiana heading on the road to Coastal Carolina. The Chants just absolutely put it on Monroe last game out. Do they do the same thing today?
No, I like the Cajuns. I've been a Cajun man most of the year, and I know they're down a bunch of guys, I believe 3 key fringe starters, but Bob Marlin has a semblance of talent here, and they got Theo Akua back last game. He is just a force inside, completely shores up their defense. He can score on the offensive end. Kai, I worry I've disrespected Coastal though, because you clearly have had a better number on them than I have. You rode that domination win to some money in your back pocket last game, so maybe I'm wrong on Coastal.
I think they're good. I think they're really good, but it's mainly a play for Louisiana's players that are out. Guy, Williams, and then 2 guys that are kind of just role players for them. That's huge. They had a lot of shooting fortune against App State with those guys out. Bob Marlin still not with the team. Fans, for some reason, may think that's a positive. I guess he's not very well liked down there.
I don't get that, man. I like Marlon.
Also, App State was without their best player, Justin Forrest. So I'm kind of like poo-pooing that game. I think Coastal's legit. So I'm leaning towards the Chants, Jim.
Yep. And I will sit firmly on the fence in between my two Weave friends here and not take a side in that game. All right, let's get back to the outline. Reminder, hit that like button while we're in the chat section. And we have moved officially to the Field of 68 Best Bets YouTube channel. So if you're here,
this is it.
Obviously,
you've done it right.
That. So
congratulations.
A couple games we'll hit later from the chat. Buffalo Akron will be in Best Bets. Tarleton UVU. I see them. We will get to them, I promise. But let's go back to the outline, Kai.
Let's do it. And let's do another Big East game. Providence at DePaul. Matt,
our demons.
Chicago Big East
our
team.
Demons.
David Jones. Like every single other game we're discussing, apparently, there's a key guy you got to watch out for. David Jones should be back for DePaul. I think he's top 4 in the Big East in scoring and rebounding. I read that correctly in my little research. Very key. Without him, they obviously lost to Butler, Jim, but it was a home run spot for Butler. I'm not really faulting DePaul on that one. Now looking to get back to even in conference play back at home. Who do you lean in this one?
The Demons. I'm going to play Possessed today, baby.
I'm playing Possessed too, baby.
Yeah, let's go DePaul. Freeman Liberty had like a awful game. He was 4 of 16 from the field at Butler. I don't see it happening again back home. There's a little bit of a buy low, sell high. Providence is riding high right now. They've got 5 quad 1 wins. I don't think anyone else has 4, and they're getting a lot of drumbeat from anti-analytic folk that say
a lot of attention.
Providence should be like number 10 in the country. They've had some fortunate circumstances in a lot of their wins. In fact, all 5 of those Q1 wins, you can look at the other team's lineup and point out somebody being out. Of course, they still won the games. That matters. But here, I think it's a great spot for DePaul. I don't think Providence is the world beater that they've looked so far, Matthew. So as long as Jones is in there, I am a Blue Demon for the day.
Yeah, I believe Nate Watson got hurt last game too. I mean, I know he's going to probably play today.
Cramp, I think.
Oh, he's just cramping. Okay.
He returned, yeah.
Okay, well, let's hope he's poorly hydrated today and has similar cramps because I think DePaul has a chance to suffocate this backcourt. Defensively, when they are engaged, they are really good. I'd like to get Jones in there. He's obviously a good key piece of the puzzle, but JFL leading the charge, not JVL. JFL is enough for me to like DePaul. Yeah. Go Demons.
DePaul +1, best bet. Uh-oh.
Boom. There it is.
I'm seeing through the Providence wins a little bit. It's still impressive, but the main thing here, Nate Watson, right, best player for Providence. DePaul has plenty of bodies to throw at him. I mean, all they that is their best asset. Johnson, Ane, Ungenda, so much enormous. Size, so much size big. You can throw at him. I think it's going to be a great spot here for DePaul. +1 best bet. Fading the Providence Friars. Oh no, how scary! Next game on the rundown: Boise State at Wyoming. Hey, we have a question about this. Rants. Wyoming -1, weird line. Fellas, do we think it's a weird line? Matt, I'm going to start with this stat for you. Please. Boise hasn't lost a game since Dutrive left the team. They started 3-4 straight up and against the spread. Since then, 7-0 straight up, 5-1 against the spread. They've been much better without him on the squad. Chemistry, perhaps. Who do you like in this game?
Tyson Degenhart. Kai, I'm going to continue to say his name until people remember it. He's been phenomenal, better than Dutrive. He gives them shooting. He's also a big body who can defend. Boise is like an awesome defensive team. That's how they make their pay. Rice has talked about that at length, how he's just like head over heels with how this team defends. Offensively, there's been some lulls. But I think against Wyoming, who has gotten better defensively this year, Jim, because of the insertion of some key big guys up front, notably my guy, Graham Ike. We watched last season. They drove circles around Wyoming on the perimeter. It was non-competitive. And I know this is a different Wyoming team. But I do lean Boise. I have them as a short favorite. The line's not weird. Wyoming's legit, but I think Boise's the better team.
I like Wyoming if they weren't coming back from Hawaii. I'm a little spooked by that. They've had a week off, so maybe it's a completely irrelevant concern. But I do think sometimes there's an island hangover for teams coming back from there. This is their first one since then. Conference opener. Boise has already played one. That may be an advantage to the Broncos. So, yeah, a little bit split here. Maybe the elevation doesn't affect Boise as much in the home court. I don't know. Hopefully Wyoming remembers getting completely embarrassed at home twice last season. I remember fondly, well, not so fondly, watching those games.
2 straight losers for me. Yeah.
This one is a stay away from me. Unfortunately, gonna tune in but not bet it.
Yeah, top 20 defense, Matt. You mentioned it for Boise State, and so many athletes, and they have a ton of size to combat EK inside. He's been Wyoming. He has like 35% usage rating. He's basically the go-to guy with Maldonado. Wyoming, Matt, one of the better front courts in the country, or excuse me, home court advantages in the country.
Yes, Laramie is one of the factors
certainly have to consider here. I don't buy Wyoming as a top 100 team quite yet. They failed against better competition. Strength of schedule is weak, but I don't know. I got no dog in this fight. Moving on. This game does tip, I believe, pretty soon. West Virginia at Texas. Well, Bob Huggins hinted, Jim, that he was going to be missing guys, and boy, is he missing guys. Kaz Sherman is out. Gabe O is out.
And also
like
the only name I can pronounce.
Also, Kobe Johnson, freshman, who doesn't really mean too much for them. And people jumped on Texas early with that kind of hint of a news. It's up to 10 points right now. What do you think?
Sort of lean towards Texas now without Sherman. He's just so valuable, but I don't really want to touch this Texas team right now. Haven't seen them beat a good team yet this entire season. So they have to beat one by double digits. That's a little nerve-wracking. West Virginia has a dog, Matt. I think Bob Huggins can scum the game up. It's only like a 120 total. So you're not getting many possessions. If Sean McNeil hits a couple threes, then it's going to be really tough for Texas to cover. But man, I'm just laughing at Huggins. Like, we got a couple guys out. Like my best offensive player and my best defensive player are both out.
Yeah.
All right. Well, that's more than just some guys. So yeah, stay away from me, Matt. Just, I want to see more from Texas before I start backing them.
Well, here's what I have seen the last couple of games. Kai, I think you brought this to light. Dylan Disu, a guy's name we've been beating the drum all season, how badly this Longhorn team needs him. He's been really good the last two games. Defensively is where his impact, I think, is instrumental for this the pack line. He's kind of the heartbeat in the back end there. 120 is too high. I know it looks low, but without Sherman, I don't know who's scoring for Westphal. And you insert Disu up front, and just how slow and methodical and molasses we've seen Texas play and the way their games have evolved. I like under here, man.
Yeah. By the way, line correction, it's 11.5. I did not refresh my screen, which is concerning.
It's climbing.
There's something going on with Texas too, where people are rumoring that Marcus Carr might transfer.
What's that about?
Yeah.
There's been some pushback to it. I think Jeff Goodman was like, he's going to have a good Big 12 season, but I do wonder if there are some boy, our offense sucks. Why are we playing so slow? What are we doing? Look how much talent we have. I'm curious to see how that plays out in the conference season.
Can't touch West Virginia here. That's basically my take. All right. Last game in the rundown before we're chat mob and best bet reminders / reveals. Virginia at Syracuse. On paper, in my opinion, Matt, a brutal matchup for Virginia. Can't shoot, can't rebound. That's bad against the zone that's been terrible this year. Can't exploit it. And the pack line against Syracuse shooters seems yikes town as well. What do you think?
I think this line's a little short, to be honest. But we've seen Tony Bennett, man. He's devised some really good zone busting schemes in the past, but he's also had shooting in the past. So I think the scheme's only half of the equation. Don't have the personnel to knock down the open shots, which, God, they haven't had any sort of offensive rhythm. I mean, you go through the resume, it's like you can find some good stretches, but the Iowa game, they were down like 20, needed a miracle comeback there. James Madison, I mean, they didn't score for like 3 hours, it felt like. I just cannot trust this. You have to find some evidence of a correction, Jim, with UVA before you can hop in on them, I think.
Yeah, you really got to squint to find some good stretches with this Virginia team. They're just bad right now. Yeah. And I can't trust them in this matchup, as Kai mentioned. Like, I think Syracuse has had some beneficial shooting luck lately. Some of the shot quality data shows that, but they're really good shooters and they're playing bad shooters. And I just think it's going to trend more towards them. I do agree the line is short. I think the Carrier Dome is a decent home court advantage, just the cavernous space that you have to play in there. So yeah, it's a lean towards Syracuse for me. They just got more offensive juice. In Virginia, man, I need to see signs of life before I even start to think of putting that towards like the program range, because they've been awful.
Yep. Yeah, I agree. I'm leaning towards Syracuse there. All right, Jim, more chat mob. Let's do it.
Oh yeah, whole lot of chat mob, boys. Big old Saturday slate.
Heck yeah.
All right. As I mentioned to Jim Bean, Buffalo and Akron's coming in best bets, so I'm going to skip that for now. Ken Ray, Kai, asking about Tarleton at Utah Valley. This is both teams kind of coming off opposite ends of the spectrum. Tarleton with a big road win at Dixie, whereas Utah Valley lost at home to Abilene. Do you like UVU and the bounce back? And bonus, he asked about the under.
Yeah, bounce back. Plus, Tarleton State was missing two of their best players last game. Still beat Dixie. Super impressive. Obviously have the ability to make this game just a slog. I do lean towards the under because of those guys that are out for Tarleton. Maybe out. They could be back, I suppose.
I don't think they traveled, so I think they are out.
But so I'm definitely leaning towards Utah Valley at -6. It's a big spread against Tarleton.
Big number.
I think they can get it done.
I mean, do they have 5.5 players, Jim? Like they actually play at Tarleton, so that explains the line. I think
IMAC could have 25 rebounds.
Yeah.
But roughly. Tarleton's the ultimate underdog. And
they are. Yep. They are.
UVU has some point guard questions with McClanahan out and Woodbury's still not back. So it's like all Blaze Neal. It's a weird game. I lean towards the under and I'm spooked on the spread. All right. Next one. Sorry. Matt, you get this one. Actually, you get a CUSA twofer. We'll split it. Kai, you get one of these.
I want them both.
Nope, you get one. You get Rice at North Texas, and Kai, you get UTSA at UAB. Matt, let's start with you. The Mean Green, Grant McCaslin, do they take care of business at home?
Don't like Mean Green as large favorite, but love Mean Green in general. They are catching Rice off a COVID pause, so could be some lineup surprises there. I guess I'd lean Mean Green, Kai, just because of the
say that chance you could
fast. Be lean Mean Green. Yeah, I'm not going to do that. But I do lean Mean Green.
Jim, what was my game? I was distracted by Cam Jones being out for Marquette.
Oh yeah, it's okay. Hey, he's erratic, man. We're not.
Yeah, he's very erratic.
Yeah, we don't need him. Don't need him. We're good.
Sorry, Jim.
I'd trade him for Marcel in a heartbeat. Your game was UTSA at UAB. Big old Blazers as a monster's favorite here.
Yeah, I mean the spread. Obviously, if your number doesn't say that 21 is an advantage for UTSA, well, I guess good for you. You're super high on UAB. I am not stepping in front of UAB at all. This could be a 30-point game. So no, thank you.
Yep, done.
I'm assuming Jordan Ivy Curry is back from COVID protocols for UTSA. He was out before Christmas, but they could be missing more guys and other guys. I think this is their first game after the break. UAB, we saw they had everybody. They brought some of the key cogs off the bench last game. And I mean, they just slowly but surely demolished. Actually, it was kind of jumped on them early against a good UTEP team.
Yeah.
I'm staying away. I want to find some spots to fade UAB because I think they're overvalued, but UTSA is not the team.
Not the spot. No.
Twofer from Dane Richardson in the ACC. We'll split this one as well.
Pay attention.
Kai, you get Florida State at NC State. We're starting with you.
Okay.
Matt, you get Wake Forest at Miami, Florida.
Let's see. Spread. NC State +2.5 still. I think this is a home run spot.
Oh, you know what? This is on me, guys. This is a best bet. I should have left this out.
Wow, look at you. You pulled a Matt.
I did.
I'm sure the
viewers want to keep going with it.
No, we're going to save it. We're going to
don't spoil it.
It's not my best bet.
It's my best bet.
Correct.
Okay.
Matt, Wake Forest at Miami, Florida. Wake shot the lights out against NC State. Miami shot the lights out. Wake lost at Louisville in a late extension or comeback for Louisville. What do you think?
Line open 1.5, and Miami is just down to 1 now, I believe. It's kind of a high total. I know Wake Forest is playing up and down this year, but it seems like Miami likes to sometimes get in these slogs. I would lean under. No take on the side. I just probably have Miami rated higher than most of the world at this point. So I feel like most people are looking at this, seeing a Wake edge. I still respect the Canes, guy, as I have for 3 years now.
They've been a lot better lately.
Yeah, honestly. I am most people. Wake Forest I think Wake Forest in under. Miami, that's a shooting exhibition against NC State was garbage. They went on a 19-2 run late. That was frustrating. All right, Kai from Hot Dog.
Yes,
Green Bay at Wright State.
God,
man, Wright State is infuriating. Green Bay has been a feisty underdog.
Yeah.
What do you think?
Saw the stat the other day. Green Bay is led at half 7 of their 12 games. That's wild. They're like 2-10 this season. They've been feisty, and Wright State has been anything but feisty. I'm staying stubborn on Wright State and thinking they're going to turn it around and be one of the better teams in this conference. But I don't know why you'd be confident. And Green Bay's taking a slight amount of money. I'm probably staying away in this one, Matt.
I took Wright State because I like pain, and I'm stubborn.
You're a masochist.
Yeah,
I am a masochist.
I've kind of done with Wright State. Their best game was that at NC State win, and it was the one I was not on them, which is infuriating. Right. Yeah. And the ones I'm on them is when they're a favorite, they just can't extend. So a little spooked off them. All right, Kai, from Ryan Abramowitz, former conference game here. This confused me. My brain broke looking at this. It's Boston P at Southeast Missouri State. No longer.
Yes.
This is still a conference game, right?
It is a conference.
Yes. OVC.
Why did I think Austin Peay was one of the A-Sun teams? My brain is struggling.
They might be going there soon. I don't know.
All right. Kai, what do you got?
Gosh, I like SEMO, which is a terrible team, SEMO. But I think Austin Peay sucks. And Nate James was out last game, their coach. I think this is SEMO's game. The spreads come up too much for me to bet, but 3.5 probably still leaning their way.
Yeah, play some defense, please.
Torched by Murray.
Yeah. Play some
defense. They scored 81 points.
Yeah, they did.
Sure. 80 possession game in conference. Yeah. Wild.
Nice.
They are sprinting up and down the court. All right, Matt, another one from Ryan from the Patriot League. Navy at Holy Cross. Holy Cross. First game after Christmas. They didn't have RJ Johnson, their point guard, last game. I think if he doesn't play, Navy's going to smack them.
Yep. Navy is the one team that I just don't respect enough for some reason. So I've kind of put them on the don't fade list. And so I will not be doing so with the team that could be down players today. I agree.
All right, Kai, for you, another frustrating Summit team here, Omaha, set it on the road to Oral Bob. Do we think the Omaha in-conference renaissance is real, akin to William and Mary in the CAA? Or do we think Oral Bob is continuing to figure things out? They covered late last game. They got up at half in Denver, gave it away, and then re-extended. So a little confused with Oral Bob right now.
Yeah, I'm staying fully away. It's too big for me to lay Oral Bob, and I have zero interest in fading Oral Bob with Omaha, a team that could be bottom 20 in the country. So absolute stay away from me.
Okay. Dave Jones, officially a go for DePaul. Thank you, Harry, for that.
That's very big. Good job.
Massive for Mr. McEwen's best bet, which we'll recap in a second.
Yes, indeed.
Matt, Tulane at Cincy. Tulane coming off that huge home win over Memphis. Cincinnati coming off a Christmas break where we don't know if they're going to be full strength. This is kind of one of those prime examples of we know who's playing for Tulane. We don't for Cincinnati. Do you lean towards the green wave for that reason?
Don't have a side lean. I actually like the over here, surprisingly. Kind of feel like anecdotally you think of these as under teams. The line opened at 133. It's been bet up to 136. So someone else is sniffing when I'm sniffing here. I just can't endorse it at that price. So sorry, a big nothing burger on both sides in total, I guess, at the current prices.
Yeah, that's kind of where I'm at too. Kai, in the MAC, is Bowling Green Ball State on? I can't remember if that game got axed or not.
I believe it's still on.
I think it's on.
All right. Well, then I would love to get your opinion on it, Kai.
Well, Jim, both teams are incredibly frustrating to me. I've been on both the wrong times, and Bowling Green, they got hot for a little bit there. I'm leaning Bowling Green. Going into the season, I thought they were a top 2 team in this conference or had the potential to be. Hasn't been the case yet. Maybe they start playing back to preseason heading into conference play here.
Yeah, they're rolling lately. Bowling Green is for sure.
They did not lose in December, which is pretty impressive.
There you go. Good job.
All right. Other ones. Jim Bean asked about George Mason at Kansas. I tend to like these big home favorites in non-conference right before conference play. Once it's league play, I lean towards a dog, but I don't know. Kim English will probably have this, his team believing this is their Super Bowl. So maybe you get a Herculean effort from the Patriots, but I kind of lean towards Kansas. I think they do to George Mason what they did to Nevada, which was win by 27. All right.
Agree.
Matt, late night chase game from Bernie Zawinski, late night bailout called it.
Yes.
Utah at Oregon. Anything for you there?
No, unfortunately. Dana Altman is just absolutely up in arms with his team's inability to defend. They got some injuries too. I know Eric Williams is still not 100%, and N'Faly Dante is also banged up, got a bum knee. But our guy Nate Biddle is starting to turn it around. You're going to be a name to watch going forward. I do lean Duckshin, but not strong.
It's a lot of points. I don't know.
A lot of points. I agree.
Yeah, I lean towards Utah. I made this lower and it's been bet up. I don't really want to punch against the market after Utah gave up like 1.3 points per possession to Oregon freaking State. That's pretty poor defensive effort.
Carlson's second game back, a little rusty first game. You probably get better effort from him. Yeah, I think you can make a good case for Utah actually.
Good. Way to talk yourself out of Oregon.
You did it. Yeah, I back off, I guess.
All right. Last one, Kai. Another one from Jim Bean here in the Big 12. Kansas State at Oklahoma.
Yeah.
We do tend to like K-State more as a dog. What do you think?
Go Cats. I'm leaning K-State +8. This has not moved at all. And I'm leaning towards Purple Kitties, Matt. I'm surprised, Matt, you don't agree with me here.
I know. Well, I'm just happy that you guys are coming around to my Purple Kitty love. I like the over here. I think both teams play a little faster than people think. So I think it's kind of an up and down, little pinball action.
Yeah, I lean that way as well, Matt. All right, let's get to best bets then. Thank you, Chat Mob. Remember, hit the like button either now or on your way out. Subscribe to the channel. We appreciate that. Hit him with your best bet, Matthew. Bets, plural.
Well, as Kai so poorly disguised earlier, I am taking the Wolfpack.
Wow.
I guess we'll give Jim.
Entirely my fault, but he threw the shade at Kai.
Goodness,
I'm sorry.
2022.
Man, I think I've like the third time I blamed a Jim error on Kai. So I just like Kai's my mind. He does. He also doesn't make any mistakes. So the reputation precedes him. Anyway, my pick is NC State plus 2.5 at BetRivers currently. They're catching Florida State off of a bad COVID shutdown. It did not read very well. Leonard Hamilton talked about how they've been following very strictly and they need games to get back into full game speed and conditioning. Probably a good chance of key guys out. NC State is not this bad, folks. I know they've looked not the part the last 3 weeks. Losing at home to Wright State by double digits is not a good effort by any means, given what we've seen Wright State do and during that stretch. But this is a home run spot, as Kai teased earlier. I love the Wolfpack here.
Yeah, they controlled the Miami game for 35 minutes. It's like 15 minutes of the second half, and then a really
there's evidence of them being competent, no question. Yep, agree. Yeah. Oh, second bet, I do have two. A little twofer for me. New Mexico State, Chicago State, under. I think Chicago State scores maybe 35, 40 points in this game. So
they have like a number. What's your number?
134.5.
135.
135. Good. Okay.
They have, Chicago State had like 3 guys out last game. They're down to like 5 or 6 dudes. They shot the lights out to stick around with
Grant Cannon. Yeah.
I'm with you, Matt, on the under. I also think New Mexico State probably wins like 80-40. So
yes, I like Mexico State too on side. I agree.
Yep. All right, Kai.
My best bet reminder was DePaul +1. David Jones is in. Let's go, Demons. Let's prove that you're for real and you won't finish last place in the Big East this year. I dare you.
I love riding our reputation on Chicago's Big East. Let's do this, Demons.
It changes every day. It's UIC one day. It's DePaul the other. It's Northwestern one day. It goes back and forth.
All right. I got a twofer and best bets as well, guys. A side and a total. I will start with the side. It was Buffalo -2. I promised Chat Mob that this game would be discussed. I just think Buffalo is the best team in the MAC, and their defense got shredded by Miami of Ohio's quick guards and hot shooting. Akron coming off their break potentially could be missing guys, and Buffalo, we know who's in there, and it was everybody. So I like Buffalo -2. And my second best bet, I'm joining Matt on an under, and it is an ugly under. That is Central Connecticut State and Rutgers. Under, I believe it was 133. I need to double check the number. But Central Connecticut State played yesterday, and they're down a bunch of key guards. I don't see how they're up for this game. Rutgers is a very good defensive team, should be able to shut down a really, really young CCSU team. And Rutgers offense stinks too. They put up 80 against Maine. I think that is an aberration. I think this game is more like 72-51 or something like that. And that would be an under, and the number is 133. So
there
Rutgers, CCSU,
an extra total, baby. That is niche market attacking, guy.
Love it. Love it. All right, guys. Thanks a lot. And thanks to you, Chat Mob. That was a great first show of 2022. We are back tomorrow, same time, 10:15 Central AM. Talk more hoops. Please hit the like button and subscribe as you're on your way out. Thanks to BetRivers, our sponsors, and we'll see you on Sunday. Good luck today.